4 things you need to know before filing a divorce. Keep in mind that it will depend on your local and state laws, so always be checking your local resources to see what the specific rules are for you. Number 1, it's going to cost. Depending on what kind of case you're filing or where you're filing, obviously it'll be different, but generally expect it to cost some money, probably several $100s. Both people will have to pay, whether you file the paperwork or you file it together. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to have to pay their share of the filing fees. There tend to be exceptions. If you make below a certain amount of money, you either have a reduced filing fee or they waive your filing fees. So if that's a concern, when you go to your local courthouse, make sure to let them know, and they probably have a process in place to determine if your fees are waived. Number 2, there's typically a waiting period. When you're filing for divorce, again, depending on your state, there is most likely a waiting period from either when you separate or when you file your paperwork to the date that you're allowed to officially be divorced. Colorado, the state that I practice in, it's 91 days, and that starts the day you file. So I always tell people, if the amount of time, if you really want this to go fast, file as soon as possible to get that clock started. You can always, finish the case way after, but you cannot legally get divorced before 91 days is up from the date you file. So check your local laws to see what kind of waiting periods that you have. Generally, you can't file one day and be divorced the next. Not always the case, but there's usually a waiting period involved. So check your local laws to see what that looks like. Number 3, there are going to be some kind of filing requirements. And what that means is trying to figure out the right place to file. There are usually rules around that. So in my state, Colorado, one person from the marriage has to have lived in the state for at least 91 days. You both don't have to live here, but at least one person has to have lived in Colorado for 91 days for you to file for divorce in Colorado. There can be other more local laws on what county you file in. It has to usually be a county that at least one of you lives in. And, sometimes the suggestion is maybe file in the county where the other person lives. They're more likely to come. File in your county because it's more convenient for you. It really depends. And again, check local laws to see what county is the right county for you to be filing in. The last thing is you will have to serve the other party. There are lots of rules and unique laws when it comes to service. And basically what that means is you have to let the other party know that there is a court case against them, or they are involved in a court case in your state. There are lots of ways to serve people, and like I said, it really depends on the area you're in, so that's something that your local courthouse might be able to help you with. But the idea that you can just file for divorce and the other person never knows is most likely not going to happen. You have to prove to the court that you have tried all these different methods to make sure the other person knows that there is a court case that they are involved in, so they have ample opportunity to come and represent themselves and their wishes. So be prepared that you're going to need their address or where they work or their last known address, a phone number, something like that, some way to get in contact with the other party so that you will be able to somehow serve them the paperwork. Those are 4 things that you're going to need to be prepared for before you file for divorce.